Denver 8 TV, your city, your source.
Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you for turning out on what turns out to be just a gorgeous day. We're here to present, of course, Housing Denver, a 5-year strategic plan. I want to give a special thank you to both John Lucero, the Deputy Director, and Seneca Holmes, who have done just an unbelievable job of coordinating this effort. So you guys should feel very proud about the work you've done for the City and County of Denver. Our vision is simple: safe, affordable housing for every Denver resident. The issues behind this vision, however, are very substantial and challenging. And so Housing Denver establishes both a clear vision and a set of tangible objectives to be implemented. Because a central theme of this effort is collaboration, we have a number of voices and perspectives here today. And so I want to start by welcoming my very good friend and really a true visionary, Sue Powers of Urban Ventures. Sue is one of the developers of the Area Mary Crest project, which you're, of course, standing in the midst of today. Susan, along with Perry Rose, were the co-developers of this fantastic project. And so I'd like to bring up to the podium Sue Powers.
Thank you, Paul. On behalf of my partner, Jerry Glick, and Chuck Perry, we want to welcome you this morning. Unfortunately, Chuck Perry's wife is in the hospital having surgery, so he is where he should be, by her side. But we miss him. We're very honored that the mayor has selected this site for the unveiling of the housing plan for Denver. You're surrounded by a 17.5-acre development that embraces the essence of that plan. We're developing a mixed-income, multi-generational neighborhood that is focused on the health of the residents. But we couldn't do this alone. We hope that this eventually will become a model for other infill neighborhoods. But as partners with the City of Denver and the state of Colorado, we believe that this is the kind of future that we need for our communities. Even though the Sisters of St. Francis, who used to live on this property, have always taken credit for all the good things that have happened here, they still live a little bit away from here, and I haven't looked around to see if any of them are here today. But they always show up for these events and smile. Their hearts are still in the property. We know that they alone, with all their prayers and the burying of the metals on the property to help us with the tax credit application, which this was one of the most unusual conversations I've ever had. When I called and said, "Guess what? We got the tax credits." They said, "Well, of course, yes, okay." We know that it takes a lot of people to make these projects happen. The 72 apartments that you see here now are home to working families and individuals who would not have an opportunity to find homes in Denver if these types of projects were not available. We have 1,200 people on the waiting list for this. 1,200 people for 72 units. That tells the story. The next phase of the apartments for seniors, which will be to the north of this, will need the similar assistance from the city and the state through the tax credits and other sources. And it's in that, when it's developed, I'm sure we'll have the same waiting list. This takes a long time to overcome. What I can tell you today is that people are attracted to neighborhoods where there is a diversity of types of housing and of types of people. As we move ahead with the renovation of the convent building on this site, we're attracting people of all ages and incomes who desperately want to become a part of the community. And we have a couple of representatives from our future community here today. While it is what people want, it is becoming harder and harder to make this become a reality. The mayor's plan recognizes the challenges we have in Denver to provide housing for people of all incomes. This is an equity issue, for sure, but it's also an economic development issue. Our businesses need employees who can live close to their homes. I'm proud to live in a city where the mayor has taken the important step of committing general fund dollars to address the critical issue and to develop a plan that elevates the dialogue about the challenge. Thank you all for coming. Paul?
Thank you, Sue. Next, I would like to bring to the podium Mayor Michael B. Hancock. The mayor doesn't need a lot of introduction, but I do just want to say a few words about his vision and commitment to affordable housing. He's a national mayor but a national mayor that gets it. He understands the importance of affordable housing, has made this a key priority of his, and therefore a key priority of the Office of Economic Development. So I'd like to bring to the stadium Mayor Michael B. Hancock, who again is just really a true visionary, and really the leadership and commitment he has is how this has been able to be successful at this point. Thank you.
Only walked up here with shades just to get the communications people hyped. They immediately start getting nervous. No. First of all, let me thank all of you for being here, and let me thank Paul Washington and the housing team at OED under the leadership of Rick Padilla, who has put together a milestone piece of work that will inform our efforts for a very long time. I also want to thank the Housing Task Force that came together over a 2-year period of time to meet and to make sure that we completed the task that was before us with regards to an overall plan. Normally they would be standing behind me here, but with the sun down on us and the fact that we have some quite a bit of remarks here, we wanted to make sure that we acknowledge them without having them get beat down by the sun. So if you're a member of that task force or were a member of that task force, please stand up or raise your hand. There they are, there they are. Thank you so very much. Thank you, thank you. I also know we have several members of the Denver City Council sitting up front, and we're in her district, right? Councilwoman Susan Shepard from this district, thank you. Councilwoman Raman Kanish, no greater champion for affordable housing in the city. Councilman Brooks, I understand, is here somewhere. There he is, Councilman Brooks. Standing in the shade, huh? That's how you do it. Are there other members of council who showed up since I sat down? I want to thank our members of council who have been just tremendous partners on this. To Rick Garcia, our regional HUD representative, thank you so very much for being here. Good friend, great leader of this community. We appreciate everything he's done with regards to our housing initiatives, being simple, being linear. To the Denver Housing Authority with Ishmael Guerrero, for your tremendous leadership and really transforming what public housing looks like in our city. We appreciate you greatly. To Sue Powers, I can't say enough about your leadership. This is a project, I've been to this project when we broke ground. I came to this project when we cut the ribbon. We came here to pick carrots together about a month ago, and now we're here to release this very important report. To all of our neighborhood development collaborative members, we want to thank you. We heard you. We appreciate your engagement and let you know that you're essential to our success in this plan and going forward. All the private developers who are partnering with the city, who help us to stay committed to our mission, and to Urban Ventures, whose work on RE Apartments, again, Sue, represents the best of what housing industry is all about, which is changing the lives of the people who live here. Now, let's jump right into this. I'm proud to present to you the Housing Denver, a multi-pronged collaborative 5-year plan that will harness the resources of the public and private sectors to deliver accessible housing opportunities for individuals and families of all income levels throughout the city and county of Denver. Access to safe, decent, affordable housing has never been more important in Denver. Today, 100,000, oh my, 100,000, thank you. 100,000 more people live in the city than in 2000, which, as many of you already know, we're expecting 100,000 more in the next decade. While the city's population has spiked and will continue to spike, the housing stock is just not keeping pace with the community needs. The gap is exacerbated by our real estate market. Home prices have been improving, which is generally a good news for our city's economy, but higher prices are increasingly making housing unaffordable for too many people. If we are to build a world-class city where everyone matters, we must have a housing infrastructure in which everyone who works hard and plays by the rules can find affordable housing for their families. That is why, since day one, my administration has worked hard to improve housing opportunities throughout the city. In 2012, I convened a housing task force comprised of 19 public and private stakeholders to explore many issues related to housing affordability. This group's recommendations have strongly shaped our new housing policy. We have also engaged the community at large to inform this comprehensive plan. Through a series of public meetings, we met with nonprofits, developers, finance experts, neighborhood advocates, service providers, and residents. In 2013, You might recall I announced the 3x5 initiative, a challenge to the community to develop, rehab, and preserve at least 3,000 affordable units over the next 5 years. We invested $3 million to jumpstart that plan. I am happy to report that we have delivered more than 700 units, affordable units, in the past year, the first year of that plan, exceeding our goal. And we have proposed for the 2015 budget another $3 million to continue with our efforts in affordable housing. We still have much work to do, but we recognize that we are well on our way to achieving the vision of 3x5. But as I've said publicly, that is like giving a well a tic tac. We have a major hurdle in this city to address the issue of affordable housing. Housing Denver is a call to action to all of our community partners to further bolster housing affordability at all income levels, from homeless to low, moderate, and medium income households. Through Housing Denver, we will set the stage to strengthen partnerships with nonprofits, private sector developers, and the finance community to build a balanced, inclusive housing market. Denver's housing continuum includes transitional housing, vouchers, and subsidies. There is no one-size-fits-all in housing initiatives, but rather a range of options to best fit the needs of a diverse community across differing levels of income, experience preference, size, family size, age, and disability. Within this collaborative plan, we will ensure that our most vulnerable have access to stable housing and support services. We will build on the efforts of Denver's Road Home in bringing individuals, including children, families, and veterans, off the street by prioritizing the preservation and creation of housing units for the homeless. Housing Denver also strives to illustrate and garner all possible support for a range of housing options, with the other end of the spectrum being home buyer resources for those ready to purchase. With that, here are the core recommendations of Denver's existing housing plan. 1, we will increase the funding dedicated to affordable housing. We will build a consistent stream of resources from public and private investments, revenue from housing-related initiatives such as Metro Mortgage Assistance Program and the Inclusionary Housing Ordinance, and thank you, Councilwoman Kanish, for your support and work on that effort, social impact bonds, and general fund dollars. Number 2, we will improve both the system and the communication of the city's funding process. It is time to simplify, clarify, and work more transparently with the housing development community, primarily nonprofits, to make our process more approachable. 3rd, we have to ensure that the entities developing affordable housing can benefit from regulatory relief and better efficiency, meaning accelerated processing, lower fees, and or reducing development charges or utilities. 4, we must increase critical needs and homeless housing through more wraparound supportive services, exploring micro-unit development, and removing barriers to housing. Those who were formerly incarcerated are an example of those that we really want to approach. 5, we will promote affordable housing throughout more ethnically and economically diverse areas for a wider range of family sizes, with a better tracking of neglected, underutilized, and or derelict properties. 6, the city can maximize the savings between a rehabilitated unit and a newly reconstructed one by closely monitoring and preserving the current body of affordable workforce and critical need properties, including income restricted properties, covenant restricted properties, and those with a notice of intent to sell. 7, all must continue to foster homeownership through existing and additional home buyer assistance and support programs. And 8, through all housing initiatives, environmental sustainability and improved public health remain top priorities. And we will encourage green building standards, transit-oriented developments, energy and water conservation, bicycle, pedestrian amenities, and access to fresh food and other healthy lifestyles. Now that's a thorough plan for housing. Don't you agree? We're talking about addressing the whole person. Housing Denver will guide the city's housing policies and resource allocations over the next 5 years by being crystal clear in communicating our intentions for growing housing options. By laying out a vision and strategies, we are laying the foundation for a Denver where all families can enjoy housing, stability, and affordability for decades to come. Again, let me thank everyone who was involved in this process, everyone who gave time and attention to what the vision is all about. And ultimately, and hopefully, we will impact generations of people that we will never meet. Thank you all, and God bless you. You got it.
Thank you, Mayor Hancock, and again, thank you for all the support that you not only give the OED, but on this important issue of affordable housing. I next like to bring up who we consider a partner and a friend and someone who is with us every step of the way. He is Rick Garcia, the HUD administrator, the regional HUD administrator for this region. And Rick, you've just been a tremendous partner and an inspiration, and thank you for all that you do for not only the city, but the region of Denver. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you very much. And Mayor, congratulations on a very well-defined housing plan. You know, it's been said that without a plan, you often don't know where you're going. And you think about all the wonderful things that have occurred in this region over the last 5, 10, 15, 20 years. A transit plan, a wonderful fast tracks program. I bet even John Fox had a plan yesterday when they stomped the Arizona Cardinals. So that was an important undertaking to know that a plan is very critical. When you think about the federal government's role in housing, and particularly affordable housing, the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development always comes to mind, because HUD has made a commitment to ensure that our communities across the nation, and particularly here in the Rocky Mountain region, and today in particular the city and county of Denver, has a plan that is in tune and in touch and aligns with the values that the federal government has to promote high quality, affordable, sustainable housing. And it's clear that this plan accomplishes that. With our Community Development Block Grant Program now celebrating 40 years of existence, our home partnership investment programs, our Section 8 programs, our HOPWA programs, our emergency shelter grant programs are so critical to ensure that communities like Denver meet the objectives that their leaders, the city council members, and the mayor of Denver has set forth. We're proud to be partners. In fact, today I bring greetings from the Secretary of HUD, Julian Castro, who happens to be in Alaska today, making announcements for the Indian Community Development Block Grant Program, which will be benefiting tribal reservations housing initiatives all throughout this country. So as we look into the future, I wished I could say that more CDBG dollars and home dollars, which are really the foundation of really making projects like ARIA come to life. Our neighborhood stabilization programs through the stimulus efforts of the last several years helped this project and many others, and the city of Denver played a critical role in ensuring those dollars got out to individuals and projects. It also helps attract private investment. So what I'm talking about is collaboration and partnership. And that is the commitment that I continue to stand by. My boss, Julian Castro, stands by as well as we go forward in collaborating to ensure that the goals the mayor set forth in this wonderful Housing Denver initiative and this plan for the next few years come to reality. So I congratulate you again, Mayor Hancock, the city, the task force members, city council members on this wonderful, wonderful accomplishment. Thank you again.
Thank you, Rick. Next, I'd like to bring up to the microphone Ishmael Guerrero from the Denver Housing Authority. He also is representing the Neighborhood Development Collaborative. Ishmael is a leader in housing and you know, an inspiration, frankly, in how he's been able to approach mixed income developments and revitalization of neighborhoods. So Ishmael, you're a great partner and inspiration for this agency. So welcome, please, Ishmael Guerrero.
All right, good morning. It's good to be batting cleanup with this all-star cast that preceded me. So I am Ismael Guerrero, the Executive Director at DHA. And on behalf of the Housing Authority, as well as the board of directors of the Neighborhood Development Collaborative. I am really excited, truly excited to be here with Paul and Mayor Hancock to announce the release of Denver's affordable housing plan. As you've heard today, the housing plan is the culmination of a commitment made by Mayor Hancock from the time he took office, and that many of us here who are advocates for affordable and workforce housing have been working on really for much longer than even before the mayor came into office with his amazing team. From serving on the mayor's housing task force to now being appointed to the mayor's housing advisory commission, it's been apparent to me that this mayor really is, and the city of Denver and his staff are serious about addressing the current affordable housing crisis facing residents across all income levels here in Denver. As director of the Housing Authority, I know the challenges faced by seniors, the disabled community, and many families caught in cycles of generational poverty. The numbers are real. Just 2 weeks ago, DHA had its annual Section 8 lottery registration. We accepted 23,000 interest cards for our Section 8 voucher program in 48 hours. That's an increase of 100% in the people seeking rental assistance over the last 5 years. I believe that this plan calls out specific actions that will benefit DHA and our residents in the communities that we serve. I also serve as a founding board member of the Neighborhood Development Collaborative, which is a coalition of 12 community-based nonprofit developers that have collectively created thousands of housing units, including hundreds of new homeowner units in partnership with the Office of Economic Development. Many of our board members are here today. I'll ask you guys as well to raise your hand for the NDC board members who've been working hard along with others on this plan. I know the priorities in this plan will ultimately lead to greater capacity and the needed resources for all of us to deliver on our mission. In fact, I've had the fortune of serving on several civic, professional, and nonprofit boards, all who care deeply about the lack of affordable housing in Denver and the impact that it has on families, on neighborhoods, and on our local economy. I believe that the priorities and action items in the mayor's housing plan identify key opportunities and challenges that need to be addressed in a collaborative and comprehensive manner if we're going to have an impact at all. And I have a lot of faith that we will. When I moved to Denver in 1999 as an affordable housing developer, it didn't take too long for me to get asked to participate on a mayoral housing task force back in 2001. I've served on several since then, and I know many others here have as well. I can honestly say that I'm more excited today than I have ever been about the positive impact that we will have in this moment and in the coming years as we get to work on implementing the action items that are called for in the housing plan. So with that, thank you, Mayor, for creating that moment and for providing us with this the leadership to get the housing plan completed and now released today. Thank you.
Thank you, Ishmael. That was fantastic. And finally, I would like to introduce Eugene Kaysen. It's always important, of course, to put a face on the issue and remind us why we're all here. So I'm delighted to welcome one of the very newest residents of RE Apartments. He's been here just a few weeks, but I think Eugene's remarks and his presence will just reaffirm why we're all here and why this is so important and why the work that we're doing is changing lives. So please help me welcome Eugene Kaysen.
Mr. Mayor, I just want you to know you're swinging a big bat. Keep up the good work. God is an awesome God. And when you're a guy that's come from 12 brothers and sisters and has gone down from the guttermost to the uttermost, and nobody like Jesus. I guarantee you're doing a great job, sir. Stay optimistic, have the right view, and God's going to take it high. You ain't seen nothing yet. Your best days are ahead of you and not behind, and I'm going to go get them today. God bless you all.
That was fantastic. You got to get him on the campaign trail. You've got my vote. That concludes our formal presentations today.
Denver 8 TV. Your city, your source.